lovelies, welcome back to My Cupcake Addiction. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these adorably gorgeous, over-the-top illusion cupcakes that make it look like a tiny packet of M&Ms is being poured all over the top of the cupcakes. For today's episode, you're going to need some mini M&Ms. You're also going to need some mini packets of normal M&Ms. Kind of confusing, but you just want the little packets. I'm going to use some Pocky today, so I'm just using chocolate Pocky. I've got a couple of cupcakes, and if you're looking for some good cupcake recipes, I will leave a link down below where you can find some of those. I've got a bit of our chocolate ganache. I'm going to go with ganache today because I want a really solid, firm frosting, but you could use a regular buttercream if you like. I've also got a little bit of melted dark chocolate. You can decide what colour chocolate you want, but make sure it's the same colour as your Pocky. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to prepare your illusion. So for this, we're going to use the little Pocky, and I'm just going to dip that straight down into that melted chocolate. You'll notice I've got my melted chocolate in kind of like a tallish cup so that I can get about a little bit more than halfway down that Pocky. Shake off any excess because you don't want the chocolate to be too thick here. And then I'm going to lay him down on a little bed of M&Ms. While he's still wet, grab some more mini M&Ms and just sort of shove them all up, sprinkle them on top to make sure you've got that little Pocky stick completely coated in M&Ms. Perfect, so I'm going to do a second one. Once again, we're just going to dip that Pocky straight in, shake off any excess, and lay it back down in the M&Ms. And you just want to let those set in there. Don't try to move them around because those M&Ms are going to start to fall off. Once they're starting to get semi-dry, you can lay them out onto a little bit of baking paper or grease-proof paper so that you've got a bit of room to do some more of them, but you want as many of these little sticks as the amount of cupcakes that you're going to make. All right, so while your little Pockies are setting, it's time to frost up the cupcakes. Now I want to do a really simple style of frosting for this one because I want the illusion effect to really be the showstopper here. So I'm just using just a regular butter knife and I'm going to scoop on some of that chocolate ganache nice and high and do one of our flat top frosting styles. So you just want to pile that ganache up nice and high and then we're kind of going to take it back. So don't worry about having too much frosting going on here. And then the back of my knife, you'll notice I'm scraping it off on the side of my bowl. I'm just coming around on the top and just flattening off that top. And then I'm going to come around the outside of the cupcake and do the same. It's a really simple frosting style. It'll save you a ton of time, and if you don't have fancy piping bags and piping tips, this is a great go-to style to frost your cupcakes. One of the other things that I love about using ganache instead of buttercream here is that ganache doesn't crust anywhere near as quickly as buttercream, so it gives you a bit more time to get those decorations on before that frosting starts to set. So the final part here, because we're using mini M&Ms to try and make it look a little bit more realistic, you need to empty out and possibly eat all of your regular sized M&Ms. So have a think about which corner you're going to cut off here. I'm going to go with this corner so that my spill effect is really nice and I guess kind of authentic. And you want to cut off a really neat corner, not too small because you need all of those M&Ms and Pocky to be able to fit all the way into that little M&Ms bag. So many leftover M&Ms. Perfect. So you should have a little empty M&Ms bag. Now, if you wanted to stuff that with a little bit of cotton wool, you could, but I find you don't really need to with all of the M&Ms that we've got going on top of the Pocky. Before you go and put the Pocky into your cupcake, you want to just drive a little skewer through the middle because Pocky's pretty sensitive and it's pretty fragile. And the last thing you want to do after all this work is break one of those Pocky sticks. With your little end of your Pocky, you can just pull off a couple of those top M&Ms. Once again, eating them, we've got to clean up as we go. We can't afford to be messy here. Chuck it straight into your little M&Ms bag and just really just balance it on top, like so. And finally, into the cupcake it goes. Now to bring the whole thing together, you just want to take a couple more of those little mini M&Ms and we're just going to sprinkle them around the base, kind of where our M&Ms have spilled all down onto the cupcake. This is more than just a serve of cake. This is like a cake, it's like a Pocky lollipop, it's pretty much a whole packet of M&Ms. It is all sorts of goodness. Now, a couple of things you need to pay attention to here. When you do go to dip your Pocky in that chocolate, make sure that you're dipping the exposed biscuit end so that you've got a chocolate coated end going into the cupcake. Otherwise, that cupcake's gonna suck up the moisture and your Pocky's gonna go kind of soft and your illusion's gonna flop. Nobody wants that. So that's it. That is a super simple M&M's illusion cupcake effect. I love these because no matter where you take them to or who you give them to, you're going to get that wow reaction. If you're not already subscribed to the My Cupcake Addiction channel, make sure you do for 2 new videos every week. And as always, thanks very much for watching.